Hello, my name is Landon Macy, and I am a firefighter EMT with West Pierce Fire and Rescue. I'd love to take the opportunity today to talk to you guys a little bit about what a typical day in the life of a firefighter might look like. So, as the name implies, we do fight fires. However, we cover a whole range of different risks and are considered an all-hazard mitigation service. So, some of the different things that we might tackle might include emergency medical services, or EMS, and this can range anywhere from someone not feeling well and they want to get checked out, all the way up to cardiac arrests, CPRs, or motor vehicle accidents, which might need a little more attention than just basic life support. At West Pierce Fire and Rescue, we have both EMTs and paramedics who are able to administer different types of care, from simple rides to the hospital, hot packs or cold packs for different injuries, to starting IVs or giving different drugs to help whatever is going on with that person's current situation. We have a hazardous material division, which can help protect property, the environment, and life safety. For different types of spills or possible gas leaks. We have technicians that can not only isolate and deny entry to a situation, but also to help stop the situation and start correcting it to making it better. We have special resources for different types of rescues. This includes a swim and dive program, whether that be in a lake, or we also cover the Puget Sound, so are able to respond to both areas for different swimming emergencies. We have marine operations, both with towable marine boats and a fireboat Endeavor that can cover the Puget Sound. We have fire water pumps to cover both fires out on the water, but also for rescues for vehicles that might have gone in the water, boats that are not operable anymore, or kayakers that got too far out and need a rescue. And finally, we also have a community outreach program to help with the education of our community, from early elementary school children to help them with fire safety, all the way out to working with homes to install smoke detectors, so that when there is an emergency, they can be alerted earlier on and ultimately start with the protection of life safety and property. The ultimate goal is to protect both of those, life safety, property, and the environment. So if we can start with preventing it from ever happening, we'll have better outcomes on the back end of those problems. So I would personally argue that firefighting is one of the best careers that one can get into. There's a multitude of reasons, and some of the reasons I have listed here, which usually start with a service to others. In order to get into the fire service, you have to have a heart of a servant, to be willing to help others when they're having one of their worst days. You have to show up and be willing to make their day better. There's a sense of humbling here to put others' needs above your own, whether that's in the middle of the night getting up to help someone who's having health problems, all the way out to running into a burning building to go save an individual. You have to have a sense of being willing to help others and putting them above yourself. A large part of the reason I got into the fire service was for the camaraderie and the sense of family that you have amongst your crew. Out of a 30-year career, you might spend 10 of those years, or about a third of your time, with this family outside of your own home. So you really get to know these individuals, both by breaking bread with them around a dinner table, having coffee, learning about their family events, going into difficult situations and coming out together, and really strengthening that bond. There's a really strong sense of camaraderie and teamwork amongst a department, and it's one of the specific reasons I'm very blessed to be able to be in the fire service. A lot of people enjoy the physical commitment that being in the fire service takes. It does take a physical toll on your body, and over a 30-year career, you go through a lot of physically demanding tasks, and so we have to stay physically fit and physically ready all the time. We're somewhat of professional athletes, but the difference between us and those playing on NFL Sundays is that we don't know when our game time is. It can come at 11 in the morning, or it can come at 11 at night and pull you out of bed. But either way, we have to be ready, both physically and mentally, for whatever the next call might be. One of the exciting things about the fire service is the adrenaline rush that you get from going into these different types of rescues or situations, whether that be a burning building where you run in while everyone else is running out. But you get a sense of excitement and an adrenaline rush from the different situations that you're put in and different types of calls that you might respond to. And then finally, we get to use a lot of really neat tools and equipment, whether that be lifting bags or high lift jacks, Jaws of Life, a 75,000-pound aerial apparatus. We have the opportunity to train and be extremely proficient at a lot of different types of tools that we can use on a whole multitude of different types of calls and emergencies. So what a typical day might look like for firefighters is ultimately dependent upon the types of calls that we get and what the citizens of our first due area might need that day. But generally, our shifts start at 8 in the morning, and so we'll arrive at the station and we'll go find the person we are relieving from the shift before us. They've been there for the last 24 hours, so depending on the type of shift that they had, they might be ready to go home, and so we are the fresh face that's there to get them out of there. So we'll check in with our crew, grab some coffee, discuss with our captain what there's planned for the day, and then we'll go out and we'll check our rig and our apparatus. For the next 24 hours, we have the full responsibility for that rig, and we need to make sure that all of our equipment is ready to respond at a moment's notice so that we can tackle the next event efficiently and effectively. For the rest of the morning, around till noon, we might get a workout in, since that's probably our best opportunity of the day to get a workout without being having to take breaks for different calls. We might get some computer training done to stay up to date on the latest tactics and techniques, and also how to best go about any sort of medical call and the changes that are coming daily when it comes to medicine. We'll get a little bit of lunch in and an opportunity to relax and rest for the rest of the shift. For the afternoon, we'll generally get some training in. This might be company level or shift level, where we can work with different crews in our area so that we can stay sharp with our tools and tactics to tackle the next call. We'll generally get some calls in the afternoon, depending on what the citizens need, and so we'll pepper those in between training and then going to the store and going grocery shopping. Since we're living there 24 hours a day, we'll eat together, and so a big part of that crew building is taking time in the evening to prepare meals and then eat together. And then to finish out the day, generally we'll get some games of pickleball in. Since it is the official sport of Washington, we've adopted that as our station as one of our primary games that we'll play. So we'll get a game of pickleball in. Some stations might play basketball or throw a baseball around. But generally firefighters are pretty competitive, so we like to get some competition going throughout the day. From about 5 to 7, we'll prepare dinner, and then we'll all sit around the dinner table and have family time where we'll eat dinner and then discuss different calls or maybe some calls that the veterans have had in the past. For those of us new in the fire service, there's a lot of benefit to listening to these stories and hearing about where the fire service and where our specific departments came from throughout the years. And this is also where we'll discuss family matters or maybe discuss difficult calls that we've had and really grow together as a family, as a company unit. For the rest of the evening, we might watch some TV, we'll clean the station, we'll call our families back at home to check in and see how they're doing, and then try to get some rest for the rest of the night. Again, this is all dependent on what types of calls come out, and so some nights we might be able to get a few hours of rest, other nights we might not see our own beds because we're running and helping those in our community when they need us. So some of the different types of calls that we might go on include anywhere from basic service calls out to structure fires. For these service calls, some of them can range anywhere from someone being stuck in the mud and high tide is coming, so they need to help getting out, to children or pets being locked in cars or locked into a building where the parents can't get into them, so we can help them protect that life safety and go get them out of that situation. To elderly individuals falling and needing help out of certain predicaments that they're in, we can check them out to make sure they're okay, and we can leave them home simply just needing help off the floor. Or smoke alarm batteries going off, and we can help them change all the way out to the classic cat in the tree. Again, we're all hazard mitigation unit, so we can cover just about anything that folks need help with. Probably about 90% of the calls that we go on include EMS calls, so anything medical. This can be short of breath, someone having chest pain, they had a fall and maybe they hit their head or they hurt somewhere else on their body that they need to go get checked out. We might have a CPR or trauma where maybe someone broke an arm or they have a cut that needs more attention than just what a general at-home Band-Aid can do. All the way out to motor vehicle accidents where someone either can self-extricate out of their car, or maybe we need to bring the jaws of life in and pull them out to get them out of that dangerous situation. Finally, one of the more noticeable calls that we might have would be a structure fire call, or even a wild urban interface call, where maybe some grass or brush around houses is on fire and we need to go make sure we take care of it. For these fires, they might last about 3 to 4 hours, starting with an on-scene report from the first on captain. He'll describe what the type of call is and type of fire that we're going to, and then describe the action plan that we're going to tackle this fire with. From there, we'll pull hose lines, get primary searches completed, because the ultimate goal is to protect life, property, and the environment. So let's go make sure that we save those lives. We can overhaul a scene, or we can ventilate the building to get smoke out of there and the hot gases to protect our crews. And then we can start overhauling scenes, making sure that if property is salvageable, we're protecting it, but while making sure that the fire is out enough that we won't have to be called back to put out a second fire from the same area. After that, we'll debrief as a department to talk about how the call went, what went well, and what we can improve on going forward. And then let's make sure we get our gear clean so that we aren't exposing ourselves to further gases from the fire that might be in our protective clothing or in our equipment that we used on the scene. So some of the steps that someone can take today towards going into the fire service start with your education and schooling. Being an active and engaged participant in your classroom, learning about how to work together as a crew, learning from your teachers, working to complete tasks, because ultimately these are the building blocks towards helping you in either a career in the fire service or anywhere else in other industries. Volunteering is a wonderful way to help yourself have a sense of community and helping others without any expectation for something in return. And this isn't just volunteering at a local fire department, but volunteering anywhere in your community and learning from other situations and maybe an area in your community that you don't have much experience with. Whether the fire service or anywhere else that you might be looking into, it's great to have mentors, someone who's gone down paths that you would like to pursue and who's willing to share these experiences with you and help you along the way. These mentors need to have the heart of a teacher and are willing to take you under their wing to help you down this career path, and someone who can be a sounding board for when you need them most. Training, both physically, mentally, or with different types of skills or vocational areas. If you can train yourself earlier on so that day one in the fire service you can hit the ground running, you will be better off to have a full career. Mechanical aptitude or ability to work with tools or understand how equipment works isn't just going to help you with the types of equipment that you have on your rig, but being able to look at different situations and different rescues to know how you can work around or with the equipment that's already on a scene. Mentally, it's going to help your mental pathways gear up towards working with a whole variety of different tools. So if you can learn a skill, it's going to help you down the road, even if you don't go down into the fire service. And finally, life experiences. Working as a team, working different jobs, going into the military, seeing different parts of life is going to help build you up so that when you come into the fire service, you're going to be better prepared. Some more specific steps that you can take towards a career in firefighting would be starting with just going down and talking to your local fire department. Oftentimes firefighters are willing to discuss maybe how they got into the fire service or what it might look like getting hired in their department or in surrounding areas. Just ask them if they're having testing or what their testing process might look like. You can join a volunteer program in your neighboring areas to you can join a volunteer fire program, and oftentimes these volunteer programs will put you through a basic EMT course so you can learn medical services, or also put you through a fire academy so you understand how to pull hose lines, how to use equipment, do primary searches, ventilate a building, so that you understand what the job entails. And then when you go to interview at different fire departments, they have confidence knowing that you've seen the job, you know what the job takes, and that you're going to be prepared for it. You can start testing both with individual fire departments, or there are a couple of larger testing organizations, Public Safety Testing or the National Testing Network, which will administer tests and then can send them out to different departments, and they will have your scores, and so you can get started down their hiring process. The hiring process for many of these departments will start with these written tests, and so the more experience you have taking tests in civil services, the more prepared you're going to be to score higher on them. A great way to start is going down to your local library and checking out civil service testing books, which have practice tests that you can take and help prepare for when actual tests arise and you go to apply at different departments. And finally, it'd be important to develop a network both with your mentors and those who have already gotten hired in the fire service so that you can learn from their experiences, understand when hiring opportunities are coming up or training opportunities to help build your resume. The fire service is a very tight-knit community, and so by having a network and other individuals who might hear when opportunities are coming up, y'all can help each other to be better prepared down the road in getting hired to a full-time career position. I really thank you for taking the opportunity to hear what a career in the fire service might entail. That is my email. If y'all have any questions or comments that we can address, I'd love to help you down your career path into one of the greatest professions individuals can go into. Thank you.